And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylics. What? Oh, we're live. Ginger!
We're live.
And look at this. We are 3 minutes early.
Woohoo!
Na-na-na-na-na-na.
With a good feed. Hey, you guys.
Yeah,
welcome.
good feed.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you just stumble across this channel, who are these humming people? My name's Ginger Cook.
We are working on our singing.
And well, that's a... Anyway, I don't know go into what that is, but... Speedboat sounds, who knows? But anyway, this is a live, which you may be watching pre-recorded if you're not watching it
so
live.
Then it's not live to them.
Well, it won't be live to them, but it's going to be live as we do it. And so this is, we're going to do an acrylic landscape painting of lavender fields today. And this is a channel where when we do live, we chat. Some of you have said, I just wish you guys would chat and tell stories. I just want straight lessons. We want you to have straight lessons too. And here's how you get them. You go to our website, gingercooklive.gallery, and our Academy of Fine Art in Acrylic Painting, where people learn to become acrylic masters. And it's just my video with straight on instruction and you. And also...
we like to say it's where aspiring acrylic masters learn their craft.
That's it. That's where it is. So... honestly, that's your preference. And some people, I get it. For some people, when you're trying to learn something, I know, for instance, like I'm good with sound and music, and I play books in my car all the time. And then if I'm driving somewhere I've never been there before, and I like downtown Houston, I got to find an address, and I'm trying to read street signs and trying to listen to the Google Map people and stuff. I have to have total quiet in the car. Can't have any music. Can't have anything else but that. So if that's how you learn, I'm not offended. Our academy is the place for you, because we really turn out some of the most amazing artists. And I'm telling you what, it comes with personal art coaching, where we do these video packs. We call them packs, personal art coaching videos, where I look at your painting and actually go in there and speak to you personally on how to improve your art. Now, because of we've been doing this for a couple of years now, to about 2.5 years with our art academy, almost 3. And we kept telling people eventually it will come to the point where we can no longer do personal art coaching. We could always have the videos. We give a new lesson every week that are much more complicated than what you're showing here, what we're showing you here on YouTube, though we do have very basic beginner ones too. But every week you get a new one. So there'll always be entry into that. But we are telling people that probably our cutoff date for personal art coaching, and then you would be put on a waiting list as a member, would be
May 31st.
May 31st. And so just letting you know, just letting you guys know. But if that's something I think is, before, we've always had personal art coaching, but about 3 months ago, I started what we call video art coaching. So instead of just back and forth with pictures and diagrams and all that stuff and emails, now I can actually make videos for people. It's easier for me. I can explain really how I want, what I want to get across in as many words. I did one for a lady today that was almost 40 minutes. Another person, maybe it's 5. It depends on what you're sending me and what I'm trying to convey. And I mean, this is nobody in the world is doing this, and certainly if not for $30 a month, I'm telling you that is like the deal. And I think probably you'll see a price increase too next year. But
we looked around and saw some other people. They were charging $1,000, $995 for up to 15 weeks on one lesson.
Just one lesson.
We have over 300 lessons.
And then you can get personal art coaching on all of them, plus whatever you did on YouTube. Plus once a month you get
a unique piece.
You can get an original piece, something else you dreamed up that you just wanted me to have a comment on. So we know it's a great value. We know it's just an incredible value. But the nice thing about it is a thankful to our friends who stayed with us over the years and kept it We never raise the price. Once you get in there, if you don't drop out on our monthly and annual membership, we keep your price. You don't lose, and you never lose your place with personal art coaching. You always have it. So I think that's really nice. And so anyway, that's my commercial while we're waiting for the hour to start up.
The hour to start up.
So here's the deal on the landscaping. We had someone write, and fairly so, probably was a guy, but he said...
It was a guy. How'd you know?
Enough with the flowers already. Enough with the flowers. Want to do a landscape. So I want to go over some basic rules of landscaping as we paint this, things you really need to know. I would suggest you write them down, put them up somewhere in your studio. Write them down. If John, would you be so kind as to just bring the camera back down to my table. And I'm going to show everybody what we're painting, okay? We're going to paint this field of lavender with these background hills and a sky. Now, the thing about it is a landscape, rule number one, okay? The farther things are in the distance, they're smaller they are, okay? Much smaller, okay? So you wouldn't put a giant big house up here on this hill. That would just look bizarre, okay? So you have to think about that. So reference photos are very handy. I had a reference photo. I dropped it in the paint. I really did. In the paint, just gone. I would have showed it to you. But anyway, that's rule number one. Things get farther away. And the other thing is that as things get farther away in a landscape, what you want to remember is that they are not only get smaller, but they're and harder to see, just yay, but the colors get grayer, less bright. So,
with that being said,
suppose you had this bright kind of green. Now I've got something kind of bright up here. You put it back here and it brings the eye forward. So you can't have a bright green back here, but maybe you want a green in this, you want a light green, but you don't want it to be bright green. So then what do? Well, what you do, guys, is you get out your happy color wheel, because we don't know on happy color wheels, just the happy ones.
Just the happy ones. Keep the other ones away.
Yeah. So opposite green, straight down opposite green is red. So now we're talking about kryptonite here and Superman as far as changing colors. So you take a tiny bit of red into your green. Now here's a light green that we're talking about, right? See this light green right here? What's opposite this light green? Purple. You could even add a tiny bit of purple if you're talking about a light green. So you've made a light green with lots of yellow and blue. Now you want a lighter green. You want to tone it down so it's not this. So
circus green.
So circus green. So you're going to add a little tiny bit of purple to it, and that will tone it down. Now, push comes to shove, you can always add brown, because brown's got red in it. So if you just, you can always add brown. And if you want it even more subtle than that, you can add raw umber, which is a translucent brown, okay? As opposed to burnt umber, which is like a barn door, you can't see through it. So, but you have all those options, different ways, what we call toning down, pushing back. That's the word we use, pushing back. And what do we mean by pushing back? What we mean is that you're literally pushing the color back into the background and making it look farther away. And that's a landscaping term. Push back colors, bring colors forward, push them back. And then, right, so right now we're, so that's what we're going for now, is this sort of lavender field. And I thought that, I was talking to my daughter Cinnamon the other day and her husband John. And so I'm going to use some Art Sherpa brushes for this today. This is one of their fan brushes. Now, it's just one of the biggest gripes I ever had about a fan brush, that the ones that I've seen in the past, were that they were so soft. They didn't work with acrylics. They worked fine with oil and they worked fine with watercolor, but they just sucked with acrylics because they just were too soft. So this is really a nice stiff brush. Now, what happens when you have a brush like this, it doesn't carry a lot of water, okay? If you dip it, you have to really use a rag and wipe it. And the other thing I really didn't like about fan brushes was they had a tendency to make, let me get my chalkboard out. They had a tendency to make, well, that's just what they want to do. They make things like this, which I'm just not a big fan of, no pun intended, haha. So you can turn it upside down so it's a little bit more like this, or use just a corner of it like this. And the idea is, you see all these little bristles, they're spaced far apart, so that your idea is you're sort of getting this sort of little dot effect, okay? well, smaller than that. You're getting a little dot effect like that, right? So that's why you might want to use a fan brush, okay? So that being said, I said we'd try it. These are, this is a number 4 Art Sherpa fan brush.
Now, she has 2 sizes, right?
She has 2 sizes. She has a bigger one. If you were doing a larger painting, where'd the other one go?
Now, these are different than your other fan brushes out there.
Okay,
Hers
yeah,
is
these are the only.
specifically
These are the
for
only. This was
acrylic.
made by the Silver Brush Company. She's got one bigger size than this, and I don't see it in my pot. I saw it yesterday.
Oh,
What
that
is
was
this
yesterday.
with me and yesterday?
Well, they
and
should have been
today?
here yesterday. It's their fault.
Well, I felt if you were here yesterday, you would have seen it. I don't know, but anyway, these are stiffer, and they're designed specifically for acrylic paint. I gotta hand it to my kid here, Cinnamon. I gotta hand it to her because the Silver Brush Company really hurt her when she said, quit trying to be a brush for all people and all mediums. Be a brush, make a brush just for acrylics, and that's what these are, just for acrylics. And of course, you know me, the Silver Brush Company, I've been using their brushes forever, the ruby satin silvers like this, and of course, I think she even in her line, she carries an angle brush like this, one of the angle brushes. So, and then this is a bright brush number 6, and then here's what they call a round, kind of a soft round filbert. So those are the ones we're going to be using today, and just sort of featuring that. Maybe I'll use a bigger one too. But if you just have I'm going to let you see what they do. Any filbert, whatever you got, will be fine for the day. We're just discussing about. I like red. She did these YouTube red. Isn't this pretty? That's clever, wasn't it? Got to give her points for that. Oh, clever. So where can you get these? Well, if you go, we've got a couple of guys. They're called the Brush Guys, and the www.thebrushguys.com. And I'm going to give you this. That's their website. And if you use my name, Ginger Cook, all one word, you can order any brush on the site, not just the ones in my teacher page, but Cinnamon's teacher page or whatever, and get 5% off. And so, and they also, so that's a nice thing to do. I like to recommend people to give us deals. I'd love to be able to recommend, for instance, Jerry's would give us a deal. They've never given me a deal, so I can't recommend anything to you about it. If someone were to give us a deal, I try to pass it on. That's it. So there you go. And
we had a question from Sherry. Would you ever consider cutting a fan brush to make it more narrow?
Oh yeah, I'd butcher a fan brush with some nail scissors and try anything. You betcha. And I'd take an old brush that sort of had it anyway and start with the nail scissors and see what I could come up with. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe you'll come up with a nifty thing. Who knows, right? Sure, why not? I'm not against that.
Brush.
It's the other somebody wrote the other day on our Facebook club and said, does anybody have a particular varnish brush? And in the past, I have always used. The trick with a varnish brush is you want it very soft, but you don't want, and I used to buy cheap ones, but if it's too cheap, then it leaves hairs all over the painting, which is sort of defeatist, right? So you can't, and I got to give it, Cinnamon found that the Silver Brush Company made it. She included it in her line. They've got a varnish brush.
It's called the Ultimate Varnish Brush, and it is the ultimate
you got
varnish
a picture?
brush.
Could you have one of those, John? We'll show it to you. It really is. I'm just going, because it's like it's like over $20 or something. I'm going.
It's 18.
It's 18. All right, whatever it is. And for me, cheap me, I'm going, really? I mean, for a varnish brush, because my experience with varnish brushes is you need a dedicated varnish brush because you never quite get the soap out, or soap never gets the varnish out.
Sock folders do.
But look at this.
That has seen over 100 paintings.
That's done over 100 paintings, and the varnish comes out. However they did it, this is like the best. So it's actually, you save money because you're not throwing it away, and because it used to be, and what would happen is, I don't know if I can. What happens to maybe this would be, say, a cheap varnish brush, right? What would happen is after a while, the varnish would start to build up here and it would get stiffer and stiffer, not be very good. This is awesome. And the other thing is, because of its shape, it doesn't leave any marks. It's really, really nice. So we actually bought another one. We liked it so much. So, those are some things. I like to give you just sort of helpful tips, right? So we're to painting today. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, now is the time to do so. And I want to say in advance that if anybody feels like, because it's live, doing something in on our donation button, there where you can, on our live shows, it's possible to, throw in $1 or $2 in appreciation for the videos, or 10, or whatever you want to do. If somebody wanted to do that, You can also do it on our website. We have a donation button. So during the break, John can tell you a little bit about that. We appreciate that. Again, we're pretty much buying all our products here. Aha! But there's one we're not buying anymore, and I'll tell you about that thanks to one of our viewers. So we'll do it. Sorry, we've got this. We've got this landscape, and we painted the paint either blue or brown. Something you needed something on here, 8 by 10, right? We got that. And our colors are magenta, cad red medium, burnt umber, phthalo blue. Would be green shade if you're using Liquitex. They're the only weirdos that do that. Ultramarine blue, Dazzling purple, cad yellow medium, and yellow oxide. Just pretty much, it's the standard fare, okay?
We have a question here. Why does Ginger never use expensive canvases?
Well, the reason Ginger doesn't use expensive canvases is because we do 30, 40 paintings a month, right? So we couldn't afford it, right? We're giving these lessons away free on YouTube. We do two of these a week, 2 canvases a week, and plus, we're doing it for our members. And so we buy what we can afford, and we wait till Michael's goes on sale. We get some cheap ones. If some of our other friends on YouTube, some friends, we're not mentioning names, people give them canvases. That's nice, good for them. Good for them.
Lucky them.
Lucky them. Lucky them. They don't give us stuff. We're pretty much buying all our paint, all our brushes. We're buying all that stuff, just like you guys are. And also, I think another good thing is that we have a lot of viewers, and that's, just being able to buy any kind of canvas at all is a big deal. And so, you got to show you can be done on an inexpensive canvas too. And they're still nice. If I had my druthers, I'd just always paint on linen, right?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
And if you're telling you what, if you can afford it. Now here's the thing. Take this tip from a professional artist that's sold her artwork and had publishers all over the world. And I promise you, this is a tip. If you can afford linen, buy it. Because particularly if you're selling your stuff, because it sounds very, very snotty to say acrylic on linen. It just sounds like such a step above, doesn't it? And it's all about your customers going, oh, yeah, but she did it on linen. She's so good. He's so good. He does linen. I'm sorry. That's who I bought. Anyway, it sounds good, right? So
it sounds impressive.
It's impressive. Sounds impressive. Nothing wrong with that. So, all right. So we're going to start here with our picture. I want to just take a little ruler, and we're going to do a little map of our picture. We're going to sit there. We're going to come down about putting glasses on for this. Coming down, turning the ruler in the correct direction. All right. So we're coming down 2 inches, which is what I thought. 2 inches. For those of you who do not have a ruler, that's like 3 fingers. Okay. And like 3 fingers on the other side, like that, okay? And then we're going in the middle, we're going down about 4 fingers, which is about like that, right? So we're just making some sloping hills down like that. You can do that, right? Then we're going to come down about another 1/2 inch and do another layer of hills underneath it. Maybe this one's going this way. This one's crossing up and doing that, and that's about 2 fingers there, okay? Then, from the bottom of the canvas, which is here, from here to, well, let me just measure from the bottom, then I would be right, yeah? Yes, yes, and yes. This is 4.5. So 4.5 up from here, put a dot, okay? We're just
using the landscape, guys.
The landscape, so if your field's a little bit different, your guy had more money to buy more land, it's okay. No, that'll be all right. We won't tell anybody. We'll just 3.5 inches up here. So it's just slightly shorter, right? About 3.5 inches. And we just kind of got a diagonal line that's coming down like that, okay? Whatever this is. Yeah, something like that. You guys, boom, right? Now, and this is kind of doing this, okay? So we got these 3 crossover pieces. Here's this one. This is our doing that. Can you see these pretty well? Here's this. Here's that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we divide it up into 5 spaces. Ruler's gone. That's it. All done with the ruler. Now we want to put in a little sky. So we're going to take one of these brushes like this. This is her filbert. I've got a rag in my hand. So what I want to do is start with white, like that, and I'm going to take a little tiny bit of Cad Red Medium, like that, and a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit more of that, mix that, little tiny bit of purple maybe, just a drop of dazzling purple, okay, a little more ultramarine blue, just kind of making my, and a little tiny bit of Cad Red Medium. Now I've got the Cad Red Medium will kind of gray that purpley color. Now I'm just going to come up like this, and using a circular pattern, I'm just going to make over this dark blue. I'm going to go ahead and put in the top layer of my sky, maybe add a little bit more blue to that, just a touch more. You can always, if you don't have enough, you can always just kind of change your color on the canvas. All right, so we're coming up here like this, and this is the second coat, making these little circles, right? Now I'm just going to get some white paint on the brush. I'm going to come up underneath it like this and just add a few little clouds. You know, it's a nice summer day. Okay, we're just going to add some clouds. Come down a little bit over the over our hills here, just a little bit, because I didn't rinse the brush, so my white is not really white, is it? I'm going to get a little bit of purple and add to my sky mixture, and just come on in here with a little purple and shade some of these clouds here. Coming in here like that, just barely touch it. There we go, just something like this. Wipe the brush, come back with the cloud color, and here we go, a little bit of, I wiped it, I didn't rinse it. That's too bright there.
The red brushes she's using are called the Art Sherpa brushes?
Yeah, the Art Sherpa brushes. They're the Art Sherpa ones. They're made by the Silver Brush Company, right? And they're, you know, basically what they are is designed for acrylic paint. Now I want to come over here, this one, another layer, barely touch it because it's kind of wet. And I'm just going to push up a few clouds like that.
You make clouds look so easy.
Just push these up a little bit like that. Just shove up a few little light rims like that. And come over here like that. And we're going to say that there's our clouds. And then just kind of close this in like that. There we go. Sounds good to me. All right, so that's all we're going to do for the sky. You're going, wow, that was simple. It was easy, wasn't it? So fast, easy. Okay, next, now part two gets divided into two parts. So this is part, I guess that was two, wasn't it? This is part two. That was 1, 2, and 2A, okay, or 2B maybe. Okay, so 2B is 2A, 1, whatever this is, this one. It's going to do purple and a tiny bit of yellow oxide, okay? Tiny bit of yellow oxide, purple, and white into that blue mixture that we just had, right? Because yellow, why that? Now this is really important. You're trying to gray purple, and what's opposite of purple? Yellow. So a little tiny bit like kryptonite of the complementary color will gray it. So
Sandra has a question. To enlarge other pictures, do you recommend a proportional divider or a pantograph? I use Rasturbator. We have a video at the Tech Bear that does it for you.
Now I'm going to do one thing here. Thanks, John. That's a great question. And of course, you can always grid too. I've rinsed the brush and now I'm wiping it. I want to take a little tiny bit of purple in there. And what I want is right on the top of this mountain here, I'm barely touching it. I'm just going to give this little tiny, kind of the slightest little bit of outline, then pinch the brush, and then just kind of give this a little bit more color than I had. Right like that, see? So there's my purple hill. Now I want kind of a blue-green hill. So let's take a little yellow, a little phthalo blue, a little more yellow. Now we need a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of white, a little bit of phthalo blue, a little Cad Red Medium, a little more Cad Red Medium. Now I've got this sort of, maybe a tiny bit of ultramarine blue. I'm getting my blue color. A little phthalo, a little white. I want this blue-gray color, you guys. There we go. That's pretty good, yeah? Now I'm going to come over here like this. That's too light. I want a little bit darker. There we go, like that. I'm going to come over here like that and say there's this kind of, let's put a little more brown in that. Too blue. there's my blue-gray, a little bit more blue. There we go, a little bit more like that. And darken that up. And then up in here, I'll just come up a little bit into my clouds. This is the next hill.
Her Purple Mountain Majesty from Judy.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we'd like to thank our moderators for joining us today. That's Kim Sim, or Kim Sung, according to some people. Mona, Judy, Tanya. I think that's it. I think that's all I've seen. I know Wendy's still doing the wedding stuff. And Bonnie sometimes shows up on afternoons.
All right, so this is Sunday. People get busy on Sunday. We mainly do, so I added a little purple to that to kind of tone that down. Okay, now next one. Okay, ready? So I'm going to just not clean my brush.
So could we call this a paint by number?
Yeah, we could this. And I'm going to take my yellow oxide and put it in this mixture that I just did for this. And I'm going to come up here like this. And say, here's my last little kind of hill. It's sort of a chartreuse color, but it's grayed out, right? Here's this one like that. Like, there you go. So much so for, that's sort of our darkest color on that, right? Now, I think I like that. I'm going to put a little bit more yellow oxide on it and wipe it up. Tap my brush. Just tap my brush on here like this. A couple places. Yes, I probably should wait till that dries, but there you go. Lighten that up. Now, all right, so now I've got this color. Let's add a little more ultramarine blue to that, okay? Same colors. We're just same color family. And let's come in here like this and darken that.
You have not washed your brush yet, have you?
No, just maybe gotten it.
You just wiped it off.
Wiped it off or gotten, sometimes I'll rinse it if the paint starts to dry. I'll rinse it and wipe it off, only because my paint's drying in it, okay? All right, so that has to dry, but let's get this a little bit darker up in here. There we go. All right, so that's my next happy color, okay?
The question came by when you were doing those clouds. Have you ever used a deer foot brush? That's the one that Cinnamon uses, that little short thing.
No, Cinnamon and I love my daughter, and Cinnamon and I sat at her house one day and said, "Show me what you're doing with this cloud brush of yours." And the thing of it is if you take instruction from a lot of different people, and sometimes you can get very confused because you're just not, because I'll tell you one thing, someone else will tell you another. But for the life of me, her cloud brush is really her technique, and I make clouds just totally different than she does. But nobody's right or wrong. It's just we all have different ways of doing it. How's that? As long as we're getting clouds, it doesn't matter if you used your foot, right? So, dear or otherwise.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. We have a question. Will Ginger ever do any types of portrait, abstract, semi-realism, impressionistic? Haven't you done a couple?
Well, darling, we do it, but we do it on our art academy when people pay to see it, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to do some. They're a longer lesson.
They take a long time to do, but we have some beautiful, beautiful lessons on.
You haven't had one of me. You have two of me.
Yeah, I've got one of you. God,
you have me as a Santa too.
Yeah, beautiful lessons. We got one of John. We've got a couple of my grandkids. Yeah, we do it, and yeah, we do that. But not
YouTube worthy.
Not for YouTube. All right, so now we're coming down here like this, and I know I'm going to just take some Dazzling Purple and a little ultramarine blue, and I think I'm going to come down about this far with that color. Okay, I need a dark color in here. So that's it. We're just getting in our basic.
Ultramarine blue and purple.
Your brush should sort of be ultramarine blue and purple, and your brush should be just slightly damp, not wet. That's the trick. Slightly damp, not wet. And if you find yourself where it doesn't make marks anymore when you go back and forth getting more paint, but notice I'm smoothing it out. I don't have big blobs of paint on the brush. And the thing about it is that here's the thing: if you're using the wrong kind of brush with acrylics, you have no success, and you think somehow you're screwing up, and it is not you, it's your brush. I have a great video on YouTube. It's called "Can Your Brush Do That?" Watch that and go through those exercises. If your brush can't do that, then I strongly suggest you switch to the recommended acrylic brushes. Okay?
And people are kind of freaking out that you have not touched your ruby satin silver angle, 3/8 angle.
No, well, we're still laying in stuff, right? All right, now I'm going to rinse this brush because I'm going to go into oranges and browns, all right? So I'm going to, well, maybe I'm just going to wipe it off here. Just wipe it off like this. Wipe it off. Now I'm going to take some burnt umber and a little cad red medium. Burnt
Hey,
umber.
we'd like to thank Vicki for the donation here and also on PayPal. Thank you very
thank
much,
you
Vicki.
very much, Vicki. We really, really appreciate it. It was so much. And incidentally, for those of you, part of our auction, our fabulous auction, closed yesterday, but we still have some auction running till
About 5, 6 tonight.
about 5 or 6 tonight. And so if you haven't checked your the auction page, see what's up. You know, and there's still a couple paintings that no one's bid on. Someone wanted one of those, but I'll tell you even what I'll do on that. On no, never mind. George, never mind on that. All right. Now these are really all underpainting colors. You see that, right? Except for the sky. This is what else I've done is just some underpainting colors, and that's the thing. I mean, I've kind of laid it out, figured out how I want it, and now has this dried enough for me to do something else? Okay, brush is being rinsed, and here's the secret: when you're rinsing a brush, don't swish it around in the top of the water. Touch the bottom of your container and rinse it off. If you just are one of these people that just likes an old bucket, Bob Ross, you can still get these. They're screens, and they don't rust, and they're like a little screen on a thing, and you can push your brush over the top of those, and all the sediment goes to the bottom of your bucket, and your water stays pretty clean. I like those too. I use those for years. I kind of like this other bucket too, but those are neat. If you haven't tried those, they really do work. The little screen that stays there. So, all right. So I'm looking at this, going, do I want this any lighter now? So one thing I can do is I can take a little. This is called transparent mixing white. I'm going to take a little of that. Okay. And now the secret with this is you're going to put this on. Make sure that your brush is really just barely damp. Flatten it out, and sometimes I'll flatten it out and wipe off the excess. And I'm going to use the side of my brush here, and I'm going to come up here and do another little layer of kind of foggy clouds here. See, right along the edge, like that. And if you go over a little bit, that's okay. Just another little layer of clouds here. Just wanted to brighten these up. They kind of faded into the background. Now wipe the brush off, and right here I'm going to suggest, see, I want a little more of this paint. Right here between these two, I'm going to suggest that there's some, kind of ground fog that's coming up between this hill and that one, like that. And that you'd have to do with mixing white. Now, I know the question is going to come out. I don't have mixing white. What can I do? Get mixing white. Get zinc white. Mixing white's done by...
You can't make it.
You can't make it. Mixing white is done by... I just lost a pooey. That didn't dry enough, and so I just lifted up the picture. But then that's really going to be a problem.
You can fix it, though.
Well, yeah, but it's going to... I'm just saying that's the advantage. This is why it's a really good idea to dry in between. Just going to pick that in there, okay? Now, here, okay? There's my fog.
Does the brush cleaner with the screen in the bottom, does that damage your brush?
No.
Probably you said you press on it really hard, it would.
No, it doesn't. It's really the screen. I should show you one. I don't know if I have any up here. They're coated in plastic. So they're very soft on your brush. They're very nice. They're not like little spikes or anything. They're coated in plastic. They're really nice. Gotta tell you that. Really nice. I'm going to bring that over here. Okay, so I'm going to just say there's my cloud cover. Probably should have let that dry a little more, but we didn't, so there you go. All right, so there's that behind there. Now I'm going to just switch brushes now and go into a bright brush, and I'm going to take a little yellow oxide, little tiny bit of purple with it, not much, just a drop. That's almost too much. And then I want to come up here on the top of this hill.
Do you want to dry things?
Well, I'm okay. I'm going to just tap this in here like this. See, I'm tapping it on top of here like this, letting some of that darker color show through. See that? And then I'm going to take tiny bit of yellow to that. Okay, well that's still wet, and just do it one more time up here at the top. When you tap, you kind of push it in, okay? All right, so that's all we're doing with that. Just for now, that's all that one gets. And then on this one, we're dividing into 3 layers too. We're kind of doing something like this, and then maybe another one kind of across here like that. We're just dividing that up. Now, what do we got here? We got orange paint. Where'd that come from? On my hand? Where am I tracking that stuff? Well, it got onto this.
Okay, we'd like to thank Eric for the donation that came in through the PayPal system. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. That's wonderful.
I didn't see your name out there, but I saw your donation come in, so you must be lurking somewhere.
Thanks, Eric. All right, I'm going to make a really dark green. Now I'm going to just take the corner of this bright brush and using this little, you don't want to picket fence. So when you're painting trees, change heights on them. We're putting a little row of bushes back here, a little bit of kind of a little row. Now if you need to use a smaller brush, that's all we're saying happened is we've got some bushes growing back here on our hill like that.
Hey, we'd also like to thank Andrew for the nice donation that just came in through PayPal.
Well, thank you.
Greatly appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Really awesome. Thank you. Is that our Andrew from Haiti, or?
That is our Andrew from Haiti.
Oh, wow.
That's our Andrew. Nobody else's.
That's our Andrew, our personal Andrew friend from Haiti. Well, you know, we can do that because I have to say that you know, there's certain people that you just sort of remember. One, we've met Andrew a couple of times in Haiti and actually done painting with him. There's a video on YouTube of where we did that.
There's a great one on him on how to do clouds, and his clouds now are phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think what somebody said, somebody said, when I'm going to dry this, do you have that picture I sent, John? That was a lady that sent me a painting that she did today in art coaching.
Oh, the wishing well?
Yeah, wishing well.
Give me a second to load that up.
That I had done, and another painting called Garden Party, and she sent me a painting, and this is what I wanted to do. And so this was the video that took like 40 minutes for her. And I went into my painting program, and in her video, she got the whole step-by-step of how to fix this. And I suggested this painting. So what you're going to see in this, while I'm drawing, and John's going to show you, you're going to see her picture, what she had, and what I suggested the painting could be. And I loved the design so much, we're actually going to have that as a lesson on our Academy channel.
Yeah, she gave us permission to use it.
Yeah, so, you know, because it became her creation by the time she was finished. So I'm going to dry this.
I'll show you that when she's getting ready to dry it.
Okay. I mean, that is just so way cool. I mean, I'm telling you what, you can't teach a good idea. You can teach technique on how to do it, but good ideas, I'm telling you, they all come from you. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to dry this.
You're muted. All right, here's the image we were talking about. The one on the right is what the student sent in, and then the one on the left is what Ginger did with the personal art coaching and sent it back to her. And we asked permission if we can make a lesson out of this, and she said absolutely. So she's going to finish it, you know, with Ginger's suggestions, and then she's going to do it again after we get the actual tutorial done. Hey, thank you, Anne Marie, for the donation. Greatly appreciate that. It really means the world to us to be able to do that. I've seen a couple questions come through in regards to the Facebook group. Our Facebook group now is called a secret group. You cannot find it. If you find any links out there that we used to have, they will not work anymore. The only way to become a member of the Facebook group now is to be a member of a monthly or yearly subscriber to the gingercooklive.gallery website.
And we did that. Am I on? Back on? You turn me back on?
I did.
We did that because we wanted, I tell you what, we wanted an art club on Facebook that could be intimate enough where we
get to see the work.
We get to see the artwork where people are doing. They can get help like from other artists. People tell them about sales, and if it has to do with art, it gets shown up there. And it gets really exclusive, and it's cool as can be. You get 10, 20,000, people on a Facebook thing, and it's just gone because it scrolls down like Santa Claus list. So it's almost, for me, the most we get out of it. That's why we did it. And so anyway, that being said, we just we do all kinds of special stuff for our Facebook club too, and we're
Oh, we
doing
had
a
a
new
fun.
thing.
We had a paint along yesterday, a 10-minute paint along for the Facebook group. Now the Academy members will be able to see that lesson as well as soon as I get a chance to put it over there. But that was a lot of fun, and we had over 100 entries into it already.
Yeah,
People painted this 12-minute painting with ginger, and they were phenomenal.
And also it was good for us too, because we put it as a private video up on my channel here, and but you can still leave comments if you watch it. I still read the comments. And what was interesting for me is that we were having some technical difficulties. So about first 10 minutes there's no sound, but then the part where you need the sound, you get it. And so like about 12 minutes in, the sound starts. And so we have sound today because we did that test run yesterday, and everybody benefited from it. All right, so I've dried all this. Now we're just going to, in landscapes, for me, the easiest thing is start from the farthest thing away first, okay? So let's just do another layer of some greens here. We're just going to get some, yellow oxide has red in it, so that's a good gray-green color, okay? So I'm going to just say here like this, I'm going to just tap in, paint in, maybe make this, I'm using phthalo blue now, a little bit darker. It's a green, a little bit brighter. Come down here. Here's a green, okay? And maybe in this area right here, as long as I'm a little bit darker green here, tiny bit of brown with that. That's always good. Burnt umber makes a really good dark green. I've got to tell you, it just can get a really good, easy to make dark green. And you notice we rarely buy greens, okay? So, all right, so I know that I want that. Now what I want to do is, I'm going to rinse the brush. I'm rinsing it, wiping it. Now I'm going to come back here with some yellow oxide and a little bit of cad red medium and make sort of an orange color. Wipe it off. Now I'm going to tap a bit of this just in here over some of that green, because the green's wet. It's going to kill the orange a bit, which is what we want. And why is it going to kill it? Because orange is sort of opposite blue, and blue, green's got yellow and blue in it. And so when you put like a wet red or orange over a green, it sort of, when they mix, it sort of just dulls the color out, So I'm going to do that again right here. This is, now look, this is dry. Now see the difference?
Hey, we'd like to thank Renate for the donation. And Ellen's asking, did you say phthalo green or red shade?
Phthalo green shade. Phthalo blues, I always use the
Renate.
However, if you did not have ultramarine blue, you could use phthalo blue red shade in place of ultramarine blue. You didn't know that. I bet you didn't. There you go.
Okay, so, you guys are giving me a couple different ways to pronounce her name, and you got
all right, a little bit more yellow here. We just kind of mix as we go. A little bit more yellow oxide in here. We're just going to suggest that here's these kind of rolling hills. I'm in France. When my daughter and I went to France some years ago, they've got these mustard fields of mustard, yellow mustard, and they're beautiful. You don't think about when you buy ketchup and mustard on a hot dog, those are plants and little flowers, and it's a big deal. Mustard flowers. I mean, how neat is that? And if you've never had hay fever, wander through a mustard field and see how that works for you. That's an experience. And we used to have that in California too, more wild mustard, not the domestic kind that they have in France. All right. So see, I've made these things, and now I'm going to just pinch the brush and come back. I'm a little dull back here, and I want to just tap up here. I'm tapping, okay, just on the top of this, a few little lights back here, just a bit back on that hill. All right. Now, as we come forward here, we're going to do more. We're going to get a little bit brighter in the green, so we'll get a little more phthalo green and phthalo blue, not phthalo green, phthalo blue with some yellow oxide, and we're going to start putting in that color of and I could probably brush it on, right, like that. We're going to just maybe just do something like that, and maybe get this a little bit darker down in here. And, this is, we're just sort of what we're trying to do is divide a little ultramarine blue, maybe, trying to divide up the hills. Now, if you get a paint color you don't want, you can still mix it into your painting. Just pull it in like that, make this a little darker. Now, when we come up here with a little yellow, right on top of where it's wet, You don't want bright yellow way in the background because yellow really brings your eye forward. So if you're going to be fooling around with some yellows, keep the brighter colors up in the front like this. Okay, so see how that brought this hill way forward? And I think we still need a little bit of yellow oxide in that. So I'll put the paint on, wipe off the excess, and then just sort of tap that in there and work it in. You don't even have to brush it. You can just sort of smush it in. A little bit of yellow oxide here, a little bit of yellow oxide there. Just sort of work it into your, it's grass, so you can kind of working it in, sort of stomp it into your picture. See, it's coming along now.
Got a question. I'm using acrylic paper and it takes a lot of time. Do I need to sand it or gesso it before I use it?
Well, I bet that Irina, I bet that's who, I think somebody had suggested, we took a couple of things for acrylic paper. When they call it acrylic paper, it depends what they're talking about. If it's just like paper, like watercolor paper, what you do is you take like a Liquitex medium and varnish it. Acrylic paper generally has a plastic coating on it, so there's no point in sanding it. That's not going to help you at all. The only reason we ever sand anything is to get the bumps off. So you could do, I was going to suggest to you, and I wrote that in a comment in Facebook, is that you can buy canvas by the yard at art stores and through art catalogs, and
it's pre-gessoed.
It's already gessoed, and you don't want the real expensive stuff because you're buying thread count like sheets. So the real expensive roll is going to be much heavier. You don't need that. You just need something that's been gessoed that's not too much money, probably the cheapest one they've got that they've still got gesso on, and buy a yard of it and cut it up. And I think you'd find it's not going to cost you any more than the paper. And the trick is, do you see this? Do you see, like, this is about, what is that, about a thumb's width here and a finger here. So if you gave yourself about this much room, when you cut the sheets of it, cut it a little bit bigger, and then just take some tape, like artist tape, and tape around the edges, like 6x8 or whatever size you want, and just tape around before you start painting. And then when you pull it off, you can then go ahead and either frame it, have it stretched on a stretcher bar, or trim it back down or whatever. But that's something you can, I think that would be good. Otherwise, for paper, acrylic paper, it's got a different coat on it. I'll tell you what I want you to do. I'm gonna text you my address. Use the contact us, and I'm gonna we'll give you our address, our P.O. box. Send me what you're painting on. Send me a piece of just blank, whatever you're painting on, and I'll know better what you're painting on. And I can tell you better what to do. How's that? Send it to our P.O. box, John. You just and then I'll know. Because I really, without seeing what you're painting on, that's my best advice. But gesso never hurts. Putting some gesso on is never a bad idea. Okay, so now we're going to take a little bit of yellow, Cad Red Medium, and we're going to and a little bit of magenta. Okay, now we've got this nifty red color. And I'm going to just, look how bright this is. I'm going to just put this on, going up here. This is bright, right? Now let's add a little tiny bit of purple to that while we're still doing it. Tap over it like that so that the purple's in there, but not too much. And then back to this magenta color. Here we go. Just along here, we're kind of separating this field out. And as long as I'm happily painting into that, I'm going to just use this color along here. Remember I told you we've got magenta, yellow, and a little bit of purple in it to tone it down. And now this is our next colors in our field here like that. And you don't want it all the same color. So a little yellow oxide. We're just going to do something like this, little brush strokes. I'm actually using the side of my brush and letting some of this brown show through. See that? And there you go. Just gonna. This is what I've got so far. And I want to just come up here like this. And while I'm happily painting this, I like as opposed to unhappy. Always like that, don't you? Let's a couple of these in here like that. Not too much, but let's just, as long as we're here, let's do that. Okay? So far, so good? Yes and yes?
And once again, we're talking layering.
Yep, talking layering. So now, again, we want to do greens and purples over yellows and oranges. And what kills purple? Yellow. So this yellow-orange color has to be dry before we can do any more purple, which is why I put it. But I'm going to just wipe this off and see my brush off, and just see if I can't brighten this up just a hair here. Just in a couple places. There, maybe. Just like that. Just wanted to give it a little more color. Maybe a little bit more color back here. And while I'm letting that dry, here's a little yellow oxide. Kind of keep the brush flat. Now, there's something like that right there. Just a little bit of something. Okay, so you just got to give stuff depth. All right, good. Let's dry.
Wait a minute.
Wait, we're waiting a minute.
I was typing. Now you can dry. All right. While she's doing that, a question just came in. If you were in the Facebook group and you dropped out, you can get back in provided you were in prior to the 4,000. You have to use the contact us form on our website. Let me know who you are, your email that you used, your Facebook name, whatever, so I can find you. And we can get you back in.
We're good?
Yep.
All right, now we're going to try our nifty little fan brush. Okay, so, and I really don't use fan brushes, so I may be using this totally wrong. This is how Ginger's going to use it, okay? But so basically what it does, we're going to take a little bit of white paint and a little bit of magenta and a little bit of purple. There, I haven't mixed it that much, right? And I'm going to tap off the excess paint like that. I'm going to come up here like this and almost holding it straight up and down.
Now you're going to be staying in that area for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm going to stay in this area for a little bit. I'm going to tap on.
Because you got to see what this does up close, people.
I'm going to just tap on, almost holding it vertically. That's going the wrong. I got to turn it so it doesn't want to curve up like this, right? Even a little ultramarine blue in this too. A little bit more blue in here like this. There you go. Got to tap on. Now if you get too much paint on there, you don't get that sort of other effect. And the trick is you got to have some different colors. Now I'm barely touching it, okay? Okay, so there's some white. So now obviously I need some of the darker purpley blue colors, a little bit of magenta. A little bit of white. Let's try some mixing white, see what that does. The reason I suggested mixing white was it won't turn it, it'll lighten it without turning it so light. Here, let's try this. Okay, I'm just going to almost vertically. We're just tapping now and letting some of this darker purple underneath show. That's our rows of that's our contrast. Okay, and I'm just going to wipe off some of the excess paint. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Now, here, let's come up here and a little bit of titanium now. Barely touch it. I want a few little light ones.
Did you ever answer this question about the importance of keeping the same level of abstract throughout a painting?
Well, I just think it's just so, that gets into painting design, a really painting design. For instance, have you ever talked to a person who speaks a lot of languages and they start switching on you? You know, they're starting talking English and then they throw in a few words of Spanish and then back to English. You don't want to do that in your painting. If you've got a certain style, kind of stick to whatever you're stick to the language you're painting. How's that? Is that a good analogy?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, stick to the language you're painting. Doesn't really matter what it is. There's a lot of different ways to do abstracts. And besides, people are starting to make that stuff up anyway. But just saying, that's what I would recommend. A little bit more magenta in this as we come forward. I'm going to pull that in here like that. Now here's my purples in here. Just tapping this on here.
I was told by a Hobby Lobby art person that you can't use acrylics on mixed media canvas pad. Said it has to be acrylic canvas pad only. What's your opinion?
Well, you know, the thing of it is I don't know what pad they're talking about. They told me at Jerry's that I couldn't use oil painting canvas boards with acrylics, that I could only use oil painting. The linen, they had these nifty linen canvas boards, and they said you can't use oil painting.
You can't use acrylic on that?
Acrylic on that. So, I mean, I did. I did.
Did the acrylic stick?
It's acrylic stuck just fine, and I really liked the effects. I really liked those linen ones a lot better. And, you know, for a few cents more, they weren't that different. But, I'm sure there were some marvelous reasons. And I guess you just have to write the manufacturer of the board and ask them. Because, again, it's like Irina when she's asking our friend in Canada there, who's asking about her acrylic paper. The thing of it is there's so many terms for it's. Everybody calls the surface that they put on a blank canvas gesso. They all call it gesso, but the ingredients for that are as different as tea and coffee. So I
really
would,
know the
unless the rep told it. Who knows how that person came to that? Might have been true, might not be true. I'm not saying that they're not true. I'm just saying, oh no. All right, so I'm coming up here with my my purple now. See, here's my lavender fields. Isn't this pretty? So it's actually like this one a little better. Getting a little handier with yes, that was the first one I ever did with one of those brushes. I want to need a little bit more blue in this too. I want to get into the blues here, but I like this. I like this lavender, don't you?
A nice lavender field.
Yeah.
Hey,
like
Deb's asking,
this.
as a new painter, I have trouble keeping one style throughout a painting. Any advice on how to achieve that?
Well, eventually you're going to get your own handwriting, just like like, for instance, people can't, for instance, you think about handwriting, somebody that can copy another person's signature is considered a forger, and not everybody can do it. And we all handwrite, right? We all know how to do handwriting, most everybody does, and yet, try to copy somebody's signature in a fluid motion, not just ooh, 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 but I'm talking about, and you copy the signature. Most of us can't do that, all right? So because we have our own signature, and you're going to get your own brushstrokes, your own feel. So you may never get exactly the same brushstrokes as somebody else, and you're going to get your own style of painting. Andrew, for instance, if you guys are Facebook members, perfect example of someone that's developed a style. I can recognize an Andrew painting anywhere, and they're gorgeous because he has his own style. And another gal just came up, Michelle, just sent me a painting today. She's in Wave and Water. I mean, last week this lady couldn't do a cloud to save her life. This week she sent me, after personal art coaching, she sent me this awesome Wave and Water golden beach picture. Did the clouds, did the beach, did everything. Was it exactly how I painted it? No, but it certainly was her style, and it was awesome. In fact, if you want to see it, go to Ginger Cook Live on Pinterest, look at the 2018 student gallery, and check out what Michelle did. I'm just saying that you're gonna. Don't sweat it too much, because what you're gonna do is end up with your own style. All right, so here's my little lights on top of that. Okay, so here's my flowers. Now we need to
one
go
more
into
question
greens.
while you're playing with your fan brush. If I don't have a fan brush, how can I do what you're doing?
Oh well, listen, I would never do this with a fan brush. I did say I would show how to use it, right? So let's do the rest of it without a fan brush, shall we?
Really?
Right,
just like that?
Yeah, let's just put it away. Now you need kind of a stiff brush, but here's one, right? Now, same thing.
Which one you got?
I've got this. This is Sherpa stiff one, number 8 bright, right?
Okay.
Now I'm just going to go down here, holding it vertically, like this.
You're tapping, tap, tap, tap,
and
tap,
I'm
tap.
tapping like a woodpecker.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
I'm tapping. Did you?
Yep.
I'm tapping like a woodpecker. See? And quite frankly, I kind of like the effect better. But everybody seems. How do you use a fan brush? Well, this is how you use it, and it just depends. I'm just tapping here like that. See?
Jean would like to know, have you ever used masking fluid on a painting?
On watercolor, but not so much on acrylics. But I did see this. There's one guy, and he does photorealism animals, and I think I had his book. I'll have to look at it. And he was using that, but it's acrylics are plastic, not watercolor. So chances are you wouldn't get it off. So no, I haven't used it. But
I don't know why you would when you just paint over it.
It's different than a watercolor. That's why you want to do it. Okay, so now, see, I've got this pretty good, right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that looks pretty. I think
it kind of looks like we're on Mars, though.
Yeah, well, so far so good. Now we haven't done the. Let's do a little bit of brighter orange right here, just a little bit in a couple places. Just some color surprise here, like that. There, like that. Just pop that up, and I'm going to pop this up a little bit here. Just in a couple places, bring your eye forward, a little bit of brighter orange in the front. Now, we haven't done the green yet, which will really set this. It's cool though, right? So now we're going to dry this, and maybe John has some other fabulous things to tell you while we're drying. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way, if you have not subscribed to this channel.
Oh, okay. There's her plead. All right. Do I have anything else to really say? Not really. But thank you very much for attending and joining us tonight. We will be here tomorrow evening at 7:30 Central for a lady in the garden type garden path. Would a humidifier help in the South Florida for drying time? Yeah, I would say it would if you keep your air dry. Alan wants to know, I'll get your opinion on this. Would a humidifier help in the South Florida for drying time? Apparently he's running the air conditioner. It's very dry air, so it's drying out.
Yeah, sure, it will. In fact, you want to feel really frustrated? Go outside in the humidity in South Florida and try painting outside in the backyard, and nothing dries at all. It's just you can't get your paint to dry if your life depended on it. Nothing's more. That's really frustrating. Paint outside and see how that goes. So, short of not wanting to do that, yeah, sure, I'm sure it would help. The other thing you can do is you can mist your paints. Try not to have an overhead fan right over your paints. Maybe you can shelter them a bit, maybe with a partial box so that your paints aren't getting the air. And then, hey, I have an idea. Anybody else want to think this is a good idea? Maybe you could make your own humidifying box with maybe some, you know what I mean, and the sides of the walls were wet with some towels or something, so that there'd be some humidity coming off the towels.
That's an interesting thought.
I don't know. Maybe someone will come up with an idea.
Instead of a stay wet palette, you're going to have a stay wet chamber.
A chamber, yeah, so that the chamber is kind of, you know what I mean? Maybe it's like a box, and you could somehow. Okay, so here's how we'd make it. Maybe you guys have a better idea. It's a box, and then maybe you'd do a clear varnish on the box to seal it, so the cardboard was sealed, right? And then just dip some white towels in water. I mean, not wet, but wet towels, not white. Just towels in water. Wring them out, washcloth something, kind of hang them around the sides of the box, so and then put your palette there and see if that didn't make kind of, how like your bathroom is after you take a shower. All that humidity still there? Could you do that?
Take a shower and do your paintings in the bathroom. That's the other choice.
Yeah, set up your studio in the bathroom and run the shower. You like that? I like that too.
That would work.
But I'm just saying, I don't know. This just came to me, so who knows if it's a good idea. I'm going to mist my paints a little bit, just like that. There you go.
Hey, I love this painting. Will this painting translate well to a 24 by 30 canvas?
Oh, you bet.
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. This would look really good. Probably easier to do too, by the way. All right, so we want to do some green now.
Alan's going to build one and let us know. Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, thanks. I just think it would, maybe you guys kind of are following along what I'm thinking, right? Now, this is your bright golf course green. So we're going to take a little purple. We're going to tone that down like that. See how that makes it more. That's avocado then. That becomes avocado green. Isn't that pretty?
That's a great green.
That's a great green. So we're going to say that's our darker green here. Then we've dried some stuff. So we're going to intermittent these patches with some darker green first. It's the same old rule. You put the darker green down first, and then we had a lot of darker green up in here like this.
So I'm going back to that masking fluid. Why an acrylic? I have not seen anywhere where I would use it in this medium. Now with watercolor, you have no white, so you have to do it. But here,
I'm going to show you that book, John. I'll show you that book. We'll talk about that maybe next time. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow night. We'll be live tomorrow night. Try to find that book, because there was this one guy. He paints like really, really beautiful, beautiful birds and deer and stuff and wolves and that kind of stuff. Photorealism, but it's still a painting, but it isn't. You know what I mean? The detail is so perfect, and he does use that. And can't remember why the sentence. He uses something, and we'll talk about that, because it is done in some circles. How's that?
Ooh, some circles. Okay.
So let's
I would like to see that, because I cannot think of when I would use it. Now in watercolor I used it, but
sure. Now I'm going to we're lightening up this color, right? So we did yellow oxide, yellow and white into this avocado green, right? Now, just barely touching this up here like this. The light goes on top. Everybody's with me, right?
Hey, Art, we'd like to thank you for the donation and really liking the tutorial. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you very much. Wonder if Art was one of the guys that asked us for landscape and
no
flowers.
Wasn't Art. I'm trying to think who it was.
So somebody. Well, we heard
it was one of our guys.
was one of our guys.
It's one of our few.
We have
so
such
leave
few
our guys
guys
alone.
That the guys want something. We try to give it to them because
we got to give.
so
we can't lose. Our 2% male population.
Male population. We try to, like an endangered species. We try to really going. Oh, what are the guys? Oh, okay. But short of painting tractors in a barn, sorry, guy over there.
Cinnamon has used masking fluid on her canvas.
Well, okay.
I've seen masking fluid instead of tape for doing a curved area.
Oh, well, you could try it and see. You can try it and see. The thing of it is that you got to understand you're painting plastic, so you still got to get it off. You know what I mean?
Maybe they make a special masking fluid for plastics.
Well, we'll have to. We'll check it out. I'll call. I've got to talk to her name and tell her I was bragging on her brushes today. So I will ask her what she's doing.
Alan's been making fluid used in grasses in the early 80s. Masking fluid used in grasses. But we're going to have to research that.
All right, we'll definitely research that. Okay, don't you think? See what the green does? Isn't it pretty? Isn't that green?
This is just absolutely stunning.
It's really pretty. And then we got up here. Now we're getting in the closer part. I don't know if I'm not doing exactly the same way, but here's the closer part. And then what you can do with a brush like this is you can come up here like this. Do you see these sort of grassy things I'm making like that? Taking advantage of the way that this brush curves and making little weeds. I'm making weeds, man. Don't mess with my weeds.
Eric says, "Hey, I never got my gypsy wagon."
I know. See, yeah, I know.
Well, we're still working on that one. Hey, I haven't gotten my barn and tractor yet. You're in the same doghouse I'm in.
I'm gonna just say here's my purple. I need a little bit of darker green here. Here's my purple. I love that avocado green, don't you? That sort of deep avocado green. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I don't often talk about putting purple and green. You know what I mean? Just.
Ellen says, "I can't believe I'm here for a live show. Is this a different time tonight?" Yes, Sundays were normally Sundays is at 2:30 p.m., which you are experiencing now, and then Mondays are at 7:30 p.m. Normally. You need to subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified, and you can check our schedule there and on the website.
Okay, now I got to tell you, next week is Mother's Day, and we're taking Mother's Day off.
Whoa, really?
Yes, yes.
This is the first I've heard of this.
Mother's Day is next week is Mother's Day, so we're taking, we're
Are we gonna do something instead?
Yeah, we'll post a video up for you guys that you can watch. So look for it on Sunday. We release it Sunday, but we will be traveling for Mother's Day, and we will not do live videos next week.
Huh.
No, is it next week or the week after? Well, not tomorrow night we're having a live, but the week after, the week of the 13th, we will be gone. And we're celebrating Mother's Day, and Mother's getting out of Dodge. How's that?
Getting out of Dodge? I thought we lived in Houston.
No, you
Are we in Dodge now?
Yeah, getting out of Dodge.
Man.
Didn't you ever say that expression, I got to get out of Dodge?
Oh, absolutely. Got to get out of Dodge.
And I think that was something that sort of teenagers. It's teenagers we said that, and it was just usually it implied to our mom and dad were called the parents. What are the parents saying now? Remember that? The parents.
Yeah, what's the parents saying now?
What are the parents saying now? I just that's so funny. When Cinnamon was a teenager, and she was never really fond of when after I divorced her dad and married George, she was never really fond of George. And he was a little overweight, and he had a kind of like an Easter egg with legs, I guess. At some point, he started gaining a little weight. Wore these big Hawaiian shirts, and you got to picture it, right? You're laughing, and whenever he would say anything, she'd say, "What does the doughboy want now?" Sorry, but then you're just so disrespectful. My goodness. All right, I want a little bit lighter ones here. I think I have to put out a little more yellow. This is fun, though, right? Don't you think this is sort of a nice painting? It didn't take you long to do.
Didn't take me long at all to do. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to just lighten up some yellow green up here in the front. Want to bring a little, I may have to, in order to get this brighter, I may have to, you see, don't know if I can do much with this now because everything's still kind of wet. What I wanted to, I kind of dried the brush here, just put up a few
I see
little
you went
bits
back
of
to the
light.
fan brush. That's working better for you in this case, isn't it?
Well, in this case, we started off with that, so I'll just have to come back.
It puts on a certain style of stroke.
It does, and I just wanted to say that there's say just kind of like that. I wanted to just sort of give that impression. But really now what we need to do is get our angle brush out, our ruby satin silver angle, and a pretty good one too. Let's get one of those.
Linda's saying, thank you, Ginger, for the example of using art tape in order to make a straight line of paint. I had an opportunity to use this technique just yesterday. I learned so much watching you.
Oh, thanks, Liz. I appreciate that very much.
Linda.
That was Linda. Oh, Linda, thank you. Thank you very much, Linda. We appreciate that. Okay, I want to put some sort of weeds on here, and I'm going to use my little angle brush. And remember, if you want to get any of these brushes, even if you live out of the country, the reason we talk about the brush guys is because they'll ship all over the world. And my friend in Australia, Sylvia in Australia, said that she got a whole batch of brushes, and then it was only $25 for her to have them all shipped to Australia, which I think is pretty good. So anyway, and we had other people tell us that even buying them in Europe for the price that they're paying these silver brushes, that it was still less expensive for them to order from the brush guys and pay shipping. Now, a lot of it depends on your duty and customs and all that stuff too. So we can't say for sure, but they're worth checking out. And you just got to use my name, Ginger Cook, all one word, to get the right code. Now I'm going to just stop on a few little flowery things here. If you want to zoom in here, I want to just
Are you going to stay there?
A little bit. I'm just going to do a little bit of. I want to suggest that there's these little. I'm just grouping in some little miscellaneous weeds. Some of them are going to get smaller, like that.
Is there a reference photo available?
There's not a reference photo available. We're sorry. I had sort of a reference photo. Still in the trash. Where'd it go? And I spilled some paint on it. Yeah. That's kind of where I was with this, right? Fun, right? So
not bad. Yours is better.
So I spilled paint. That whole thing just fell in the paint. And it just sort of, paint doesn't wipe off photos. So anyway, that was kind of my reference photo, right? And then I went from here and said, what could I do to show a fan brush? Okay, a little bit of things here. And then if you want to, you can take a brush like this. The reason I like a good angle brush is that you can come and you can then, you can go ahead and you can shape some leaves if you want to and say, all right, so here's some, you can put a few little details in like that. So it's just not all the same. And I think I want a little bit of ultramarine blue and white like that. A little bit of I'm going to just add, phthalo blue and orange are complements. So I'm going to just, that's too much, put a little cad red medium with that and tone that down. I want a little bit of a kind of a gray-blue color somewhere here. Just a little bit in here. I'm going to tap that on with my brush. Just tap on a little bit of gray-blue, just in a couple places. Just on here, just because I think it's sort of a nice. It does something to the eye with the orange. Sort of tricks the eye and kind of warms it up. It's sort of a neat trick. And let's see, I think I want a few more lavender bits here. Now you have to be careful if your green's not dry, you can end up with a problem. So be careful, make sure you kind of dried your green. There we go. So then I want to do something a little lighter on top of that. Just barely touch it. I mean, I can do like 99% of all my paintings this size with a little angle brush. But for those of you who wanted to play with fan brushes, I understand that might be some of you wanted to just see what a fan brush would do, and that's okay. We don't mind. You can do that. Now let's take a little bit of yellow oxide here and see if we can't. There's too much water on that brush. Just because the fennel right here, the water can kind of hide in there. I'm going to do a little bit of a few little dots of gold flowers here like that. I've had a little more time to play with this, right? Here we go, a little bit of gold ones like that. Okay. So far so good. Yeah, I like it. And let's see what else. If let's do a little bit of color surprise with something a little bit lighter. Now we got some light orange here, right? So now we want to bring the eye forward. So now we're going to do a few little accent swipes of color in here like that. Just, you know, even in the cad red here, you can do it. This is why people always like my stuff, because it has great color. I want to just come back here and say, where can I put just this little magenta maybe? Where can I put some color? Look at that. You can overdo it, but look, just a little bit of color, a little bit of light, something here. Okay, something here like that. That's too much, so just put that in. Try it. If you don't like it, take it out. But there you go. Just something like this. Here's a little bit of purple, maybe a little bit of a purple shadow under here like that. It looks a little blue, so let's try dark green over it. See, I'll darken that up right like that. Okay, something like this, maybe a little bit darker, right along here. Tell you what, right along the base of this. I want this a little darker. Bring that in. Okay. So you guys, that's pretty much. Now we just go through and look at we're just going to go through and just sort of check out our lights and darks and see how we did with that. You know, this is where you can, if you want to, it's probably dry already. You can take your little brush and just take some white. And if you wanted to just lighten up some areas in your, let's take a little tiny blue with that. Just a little bit on the top of your lavender toward the front. Here you go. You can just dry it, you know, so if you don't like it, you can take it off. But here you go. You can come back here and just tap a few little light ones if you need it. Okay, there you go, something like that. And I'm going to do that with these right here. Lighten those up right like that. Okay, kind of bring my eye forward, and that's fun. What else could we do? One thing we could do, and I'll just take a different one for that. I'm going to take some mixing white, because this was dry, was still wet when I did it. And so this is either mixing or zinc white, you guys. So that's going to be, it's transparent mixing white is zinc and titanium. So you can also use zinc. Golden sells zinc. Liquitex sells transparent mixing white. Matisse doesn't sell any of that. And I guess now Dick Blick is now selling Matisse, and you can't get the big containers of it, the big tubes anymore. Somebody said that they're not, Jerry's is going to quit carrying the big ones. I don't know if that's true, but somebody just reported that back to me. I'm going to come down here, just make this a little bit lighter. Okay. There we go. The back of here like that. Just wanted that. I love it when you have that, you know, where the fog's coming up. Like that. A little bit of color with it. Over the hills.
Would this work with gels and such on a large canvas?
With gels, I don't know. I think gels would be very, very goopy. I've never tried it. We tried something with a fan brush, using it really thick. I don't know. You'd have to paint it differently. But yeah, you could, if you wanted texture, you'd have to paint it differently. You know what you might do, though? Here's the thought. You might put, you know, just kind of do like I did with the dark blue and kind of draw it out with chalk. Then you might go through with gels and put all the texture in ahead of time. And use your fan brush and sort of stab some stuff and then let it dry and then paint over it.
You did that on one of your paintings before.
I've done that before too. You know, yeah. That's you know, that's something you can do. Now look, I want to come back here now this is dry, just a little bit, and lighten this hill right here like that, just a little bit, right like that. That's a little yellow oxide, and the same thing here. I'm going to brighten just in a few places. Going to brighten this up. You know, sometimes you just have to see what's drying, You know what I mean? See kind of what's drawing on you, and then if there's any place you can, put something else. Here's like a little magenta orange color. Maybe I want to put a little of that there, like that, above that blue. So again, look and see where it's working on your picture. A little brighter red right there.
Can we make any color transparent by mixing it with mixing white?
No. The answer is no, you can't.
What a good question.
But it's a good question. It's a really good question, isn't it? Don't you think so? I think that's we haven't ever had that question, have we?
No, we haven't had that question. Whoa, it's a question of the day question.
It's a question of the day question. Caller, you have just won a week with us at our Art Academy, or either a downloadable lesson or a full free week at gingercooklive.gallery. And if you're already a member, and you can either have a free downloadable or a bonus art coaching session.
Whoa.
One of the three. How about that, right?
So caller, who I am sure is not local because the name has got all the extra little thingies over it. I think it's European.
Okay, so you just won a week at the Academy.
The person that asked the question, can we make any color transparent by mixing it with mixing white? Please use the contact us form on gingercooklive.gallery and we'll take care of you.
Now, John, can you hand me, I'm going to put a little red right there.
I would like to thank Linda for the donation coming through the PayPal system, and we also had Brian going through the YouTube system. Thank you both.
You guys, you can't know how much we really appreciate this very much.
You can't know. What do you mean you can't? We can tell them.
I'm going to put a little bright color in here now, see? In a couple places in here. Just kind of brighten up my field, just in a couple places with my orange. See what that kind of disappeared? I actually like it. I think this painting would be stunning large myself. Really, really pretty. And, and somebody said, what could you do if you weren't using a fan brush? Well, one thing you could do, for instance, you could...
what did you want me to get, my queen?
I want you to get me a couple of those... I want to answer that guy's question better.
What was the question?
I want to show what transparent mixing white does. Oh, with the mixing white,
gotcha.
Just can you get me one of the...
Yeah, and we'd like to thank Melanie, who made a donation right before the show.
Oh, Melanie,
I'm trying to catch up with everything here. This is not an easy job over here.
I know. And listen, it takes two people to go live on any... Everybody says, doesn't understand. To do a live show like what John and I do, takes two of us. Absolutely takes two of us. No question about it.
One of my great new ones, or do you like to use is this what you wanted?
Yeah, I want something...
That one?
Well, yellow... Do we have a plain one? Do we have any white ones?
Just regular? Not
do you have a white one?
Well, I do.
I think we just want a white one. I'll just show you.
You didn't think I'd have that, did you?
Yeah, all right. So here's a white canvas, right? And let me put out some transparent white, because you asked that, right? That's a good question. So what can you do? Okay, so...
You want to try to make it transparent?
More transparent. So here's say magenta, right? So here's the color, okay? Magenta's sort of...
Wait a minute. Okay. You're fine. Let me just move my camera.
So here's magenta, right? Now, here's magenta and transparent white.
Ooh, it's lighter.
Now, let me show you what magenta and titanium white looks like, okay? Titanium white and magenta. Okay. So it is slightly more translucent, isn't it?
Well, now what you really need to do is put a dark color or something underneath it and paint that on top of it after it dries. You have to dry it and paint on top and see if you can see through it.
Well, I guess we could do it on this yellow, though I don't know what that would look like. Here's some yellow. This is our sort of yellow test, all right?
Okay.
So we're ready for a test again, right? Test again?
Test two.
Test two. Here's some magenta. Okay, already over yellow. Okay. And then magenta and mixing white.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Very translucent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I would have said no. I would have said, well, I did say no.
Well, I knew it was going to change the color. You're changing the hue of the color. It's not the same as adding like a gel.
All right, and here's white.
And that's opaque.
And that's opaque. So it has sort of a jewel tone quality to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's pink. Let's do one more, you guys. You up for that? One more? Because y'all want to know now, don't you? So, all right, let's take Cad Red Medium.
Do you have some glazing medium to do that with it as well?
Yeah, I do. Here's some Cad Red Medium, right?
That's kind of orangey.
That's orangey. That's your orange color. Here's some transparent. This is mixing white.
So that's a little more muted.
Yeah. So what happens is now here's some titanium white and orange, a Cad Red Medium, and what it does is it turns it.
Those are almost the same in that case.
It turns it almost salmon color. Okay, so it is slightly different, and I'll show it to you on this too, like here. Okay, and then see, I'm just wiping the brush. There it is with some mixing white, more mixing white. So you keep adding it, right? And then here it is with titanium. And then add more titanium.
Really can't see it as much on the white as you can with the yellow.
No, you don't see it as much, do you?
Mm-mm.
I think it depends on the color, because remember that Cad Red Medium is not a translucent, transparent color anyway. Some acrylic colors are transparent. Like, for instance, Dawson's purple is a tendency to be more transparent. You know what I mean?
It can get very see-throughable.
Very see-throughable because it's more transparent than other colors. So, and then here's there it is. So there's a little bit, the titanium white tends to make the color look a little more cloudy.
Yeah.
How's that? A little cloudier?
It'll definitely block.
The mixing white. So if you needed to lighten the color and you just didn't want it, you can try a little transparent zinc white and see what happens. So I hope that answered your question. So now your job is to just experiment in your own little science lab there in your studio and see what colors do what for you. Because that's what we all end up doing before you put it on the picture. This is not a terrible idea either, right?
So you should always have some of those 6x8 canvases handy. There you go.
We get those, they're called Paramount. We get those from Jerry's. And then just a second layer of little flowers here. So
Jerry's is the only one we found do the small ones. I think Frederick's does the larger 9x12s.
All right, I'm going to sign this, you guys. This is kind of what I came up with today for our lavender fields using a fan brush.
I'm liking it.
And but I think the colors are pretty. The orange and the greens and the muted stuff. I think it's kind of a neat. I think it's kind of a neat picture. I think I'd like to bring some. When I'm looking at this, I still feel like I need to bring the green a little bit brighter in here toward the front. There, even like that. Just the brighter the color, the more it comes toward the front, like that, something like that. Ooh, like that. Ooh, that's pretty. All right. So you got to play around with your colors, but that's kind of what I came up with this drawing. And can I show them both side by side?
Really? Okay. Set them up side by side, and I will match you. You set them, and I'll make it work.
There it is.
Wait a minute. Back out a touch. There we go. Yeah.
You see, very similar. I gave it a little bit more dirt on this one than on that one.
This one and that one.
This one has a less dirt. I brought the green forward here, but I kind of like the dirt border, but I brought a little more green forward on this one. But I think they're very similar. So and incidentally, if you're liking landscapes, let me just mention that this is a landscape we have on YouTube. This was a YouTube one, was it not? This is on YouTube. It's called the Azalea Trail. That's on YouTube. And also tomorrow, you guys are ready for what we're doing tomorrow?
Oh, I'd love to see what we're doing tomorrow.
We're doing this one tomorrow.
And what are we calling that one?
And this is Renoir's Lady in the Garden.
There we go, Lady in the Garden. I was right. Close to it.
Renoir's Lady. We have another Lady in the Garden by Fitz or something. But
Fritz or Frederick?
Fitz was on. But this is Renoir's Lady in the Garden, which I think is kind of cool.
That's tomorrow's lesson, 7:30 p.m.
7:30. So, again. Do you see, because we use the same color palette, they all go, don't they? really all
Well,
go together.
you always have the same color palette.
Yeah, so you just, I kind of use that. But I think this came out really nice. I hope you guys enjoyed painting it. We're going to do a 10-minute giveaway.
We're doing a 10-minute giveaway.
I forgot
For all
to
those people that hung in there and are still hanging in there.
There was, the 10-minute giveaway for the people that joined us live.
If you're watching this as a rerun, do not enter. It will not do anything.
Yeah, so I just want to these are my Posca pens, and you'd think I'd invented them. Some viewer like you one of you guys told me about these, and we hear you when you give us a good idea. This is I'm going to sign it right here. I like these because they don't dry for about 5 minutes.
So if you sign it, you don't like it,
you can wipe it off and start again. You know what I mean? Or you do something and you don't like it, you can, if you need a little bit of detail, you've got it. Put the red slash through the name here. Like for instance, if you needed to come and just do a few little dots of detail somewhere on your flowers. I mean, I'm not saying you would, but if you did, you can do that, and it wouldn't,
And no, it's not cheating. It's an acrylic pen.
Yeah. So there you go. That's this painting. I think Lavender Fields. It's one of my favorites, and I think it would be stunning large, quite frankly. Really, really pretty.
Quite frankly.
As opposed to.
I wonder where that came from.
I don't know. Maybe
maybe
his brother always lied, and so they said talk to Frank. Right? I don't know. This is our acrylic lesson for our Academy members this week. Of this original design was done in 1616, just as pencil sketch.
It was pencil sketch. And she filled
now,
it in.
Remember, this background, we have how to do this kind of background, this faux finish background on YouTube. That's one of our oldest lessons, and it's good for everything. And
popular lessons.
Really popular, too, and it's a good one. It really explains how to do that. And then on this one, I show you how to do this great apple day horse, but some of you more adventuresome ones might want to do a different color background.
And a different color horse.
Color horse. Remember,
go crazy.
Just maybe. Well, what I'm saying, right? So, all right. So we've got. Now it's time to do our 10-minute thing.
So somebody wanted to know: do you have a lesson similar to this that has the blue bonnets in it? Because a lot of people.
Yeah. Where's honey? Where's honey? Well, not similar to this, but I have a lesson of my granddaughter sitting in blue bonnets. But this could be blue bonnets. If you wanted to make this blue bonnets, what you have to do, you'd have to just change the color a bit and add a bit more of the light on top. But it could be blue bonnets too, and maybe change it a little bit. But you could do it similarly, very similar. Could be blue bonnets. Sure. Absolutely. It was around here somewhere. It was on the wall. It used to be on the wall. You don't see her hanging on the wall? Maybe we didn't hang her back up. Well, it is
available for sale, though.
Yeah, we have it as a downloadable lesson, how to paint. It's called The Photographer. And you go to, what's the name of our website where you can just get...
Ginger Cook On Demand.
GingerCookOnDemand.com is where, and listen, for you members, John's put up all kinds of new videos because remember, some of our silver members get, you have 12 free videos a year, some of you silver members, and if you haven't looked at the new ones that we've put up, you should. And also, Academy members, be sure to ask John ahead of time for your discount codes on that. And you were going to hand me something I can paint. Where did those slips of canvas go?
I sat down. I need to get back up.
Yeah, where's that? Yeah, where's the where's?
My new fancy ones?
Yeah, let's see. We got a yellow one.
Yellow, no, orange.
Didn't I take it? Yeah, let's take the orange one. All right. Here we go.
This is brighter. That'd probably be better for what you're trying to do.
Nope, this is better. Okay.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a good thing too, huh? All right, so this is going to be our 10-minute giveaway, and
timer starts now.
Timer starts now. All right, so let me just make sure I have all my colors out, because if I don't have my colors out...
How do you enter the drawing? See the website address on the screen, and the gals are popping it up here periodically. The secret word is lavender. Okay, if you don't have lavender, you don't get entered.
Okay.
I know, we got strict rules.
All right, so you guys ready for this? I'm going to put some white out. All right, so let us start with do
And
brush.
we don't know what she's going to paint. It's coming from her brain.
Okay, so we're going to come damp brush, a little bit of white, a little bit of purple, a little bit of ultramarine blue. Okay, now a little bit more blue. Going to come in here like this. I've just got kind of an orange background.
Now it's time to ask any questions. You have a few?
Yeah, if you've got questions, ask them now, for sure. I'm not doing flowers this time because I think we've done so many flowers, you're all probably exhausted by them. Yes and yes, I don't know, but I suspect, right?
Right. Well, it looks lovely so far.
Thank you.
Tammy would like to know if I want to give my pack slot to someone for the week, can I?
Yeah. Can they? I don't know.
I don't know how I'm going to track things like that, but
We can't really track it. And here's the thing. Yeah, that's kind of hard for us to do, right?
yeah, we're a small operation.
We can't. We just don't really can. And then one of the things that we want people to, yeah, no, can't really. I'm thinking about that and going, yeah.
What brush do you recommend for painting hydrangeas?
Angle brush. Those angle brushes.
Basically, everything's an angle brush.
The angle brush for sure.
What is the discount option you mentioned for the Academy members? What?
Well, Academy members, you have to write us ahead of time and say which ones.
This is for the downloadable lessons. If you want one of the downloadable lessons, we offer a discount for our Academy members.
But you have to ask. It's not retro. You can't go buy it and then ask for a refund because it goes through a different site, and we have no way to return your money. It costs us. We actually do this through somebody else, so we have to give you the discount code ahead of time, and it can't be miscellaneous. You've got to tell us what lesson you want. Like, please send me the discount code for the horse or the village or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, be specific because each one has a different code.
Each one, and John has to.
Generate it and kick it.
Generate it and kick it forward, right?
Is the Academy at your own pace, or would you have to sign in at certain times of the day or lessons?
Oh, that's a good question. The Academy is at your own pace.
Entirely,
24 hours a day. You can try us for a week without the personal art coaching, and it's whatever you want to do in a week's time. You want to do 1 or you want to do 10, and you have access to all the video lesson library, really, okay? So that part's really good, and some people just use and even with personal art coaching, you can send me in a painting and then work on it next week and send it back in 2 weeks, whatever. You can send it back. There's no due date on anything, right? It's absolutely at
your own pace. What size angle brush would you recommend if you can only have 3?
Well, for sure the 3/8 inch. The 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. I don't use the real big one very much. I have it, but I don't use the real big one very much.
Mainly on bigger canvases.
Yeah, and I do so many small ones that I don't really use the big one that much.
So what's a filbert and why is he special?
Well, the filberts are rounded. You see, the bright brushes are square. When you paint it, they leave a mark like that. The filberts, because they're round, they don't do that, okay? And so that, some artists prefer filberts. I've just gotten used to bright brushes, but again, This is like anything else. It's like somebody likes certain hair gels and somebody likes other stuff. A lot of times that's a lot of that can be attributed to just personal preference. I would say that just.
A question from Jesse, who I believe emailed me, which I thought I answered, but I think I answered somebody else. Please explain the rule of the pack. Once a week, do all 5 paintings fit in a month, etc. What we're asking is you can do 1 painting a week, send it in. Let's say you did a picture of a dog. And it was one of the lessons we have, my best friend, the dog, who's on the website. So that's a lesson. And you send it in on Monday. If you're still working on the dog on Wednesday, you can still send that same dog in on Wednesday. You're still working on the same lesson. So you can work on one particular lesson a week with the personal art coaching. Now, we say you can have 5 because you have the unique or your own design piece you can do once a month. So some weeks you can turn in 2 if you're doing the dog, a lesson, and your own original piece. Jesse, I hope that answered that. Basically what this is we're trying to limit the load on Ginger. We've already reached the limit of the number of people, and if we were really on the ball, we would have shut the door last month. But that didn't give anybody enough time that wanted to get in. So this is the last month you can get in and be guaranteed the personal art coaching.
Forever, as long as you're a member.
As long as you're an active member, you will have it. If you drop out, if you've been with us since 2016 and you drop out now and you come back, you'll be put on the list if it's past June 1st.
Waiting list. You can always have access to the video library and all the wonderful teachings there. But if you want personal help, then it will be...
what is Ginger painting? We have no idea yet. What do you want for a 10-minute painting? You don't get to know anything about it. So what you've got is, on the personal art coaching, we're kind of trying to limit the load. Right now, Ginger's spending 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 5 to 6 hours doing these things, and it's cutting into our painting time. And I've got over 40 on the board right now that need to be painted. And I cannot get the bear to paint. He's all Paul's. And really, Jesse, I thought I answered that. We had 2 questions come in, the same question come in that day, identical questions. I think it was right after we announced it one of the weeks, back on April 20, end of April. Kind of threw me off.
And that's kind of what we're, Okay. I like this.
You like this? Well, we love it, Ginger.
Well, I'm glad you do, because I'm having sort of fun with this, right?
Elsa says, I think it's great that things are going so well for you guys. It's not so long ago that you were reaching 50,000 followers, and now, a short time later, it's almost 60. And a full Facebook group. Congratulations.
Well, we appreciate it very much. And we, we appreciate very much everybody and that's been part of our group. And we've made so many fabulous friends over
all
the
around
months.
the world.
I mean, just all around the world. I mean,
which is so neat. You think about it, when we were kids, we would not have thought that we would be able to talk to people in Australia, China, Russia, I mean, everywhere. You just didn't even think about that.
It's a fabulous thing, I think, that what's happened with the internet and with what we're all doing. You know what I mean? It's something that it's unbelievable when you think about it. Of course, if you're 10 or 15, you just take it for granted. But this is a big deal. All this stuff. This is a really I mean, I think it's a big deal anyway, just a big deal. Here, let's see if I got a clean paste to mix something here. Okay, like that, there we go. Now, what I need here, I think I can find it in my little box of
Lily's
things.
saying it looks like a Caribbean sunset.
Ah, let's see, I'm looking for...
You need a black pen sailboat in the painting now.
I need some Payne's Gray.
The joys of modern technology. Really, it is. It's just simply amazing.
I mean, really, honestly. And then, and look, there was a time, even with, okay, this is Payne's Gray. All right.
Now, what a pain it was to find.
There it is. Well, I don't use it very much, right?
No, you don't.
I don't use it very much. Now, let's see. What are we going to do here? We don't know. You don't know. I'm just making this up. You guys, I'm making this up. But, you're kind of... I'm making this up.
That's a great color. What's that color?
It's called Cad Yellow Medium.
Oh, that was?
Yeah.
Anything added to it? Because
Yeah.
we just blocked with my...
It's just kind of blocked in here like that.
Right.
All right. See, and then we're going to put some of this here. Like here. Now, give me a second just to dry everything. And then I will put the pièce de résistance on the top, right?
Oh, really? On the top?
Well, wait till you see it. Just don't comment.
Okay.
You just be quiet. The peanut gallery gets no opinions over there, right? I need to dry it, okay?
Hey, what can I say?
I don't know, but just give me a second to dry it. Okay.
Thank you very much for the donation, Vicky. Really appreciate that.
Oh, we really do.
I guess she's going to dry it. Here's a big hello from Sammy. Chester's in the background. See Chester? He's back. He's back. Over there. He's the dog behind us. And she's back. Well, that was a quick one.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. Now, just so you know, these are canvas sheets. These are real sheets of canvas, all right, that are just in a book.
Sheet.
That's why I was telling Irina that, you could, theoretically, just...
buy those from Jerry when they're on sale for it's like
well, you
$2.50.
buy they're like $2. They're really cheap when they're on sale. They're really, really inexpensive. Let's see what they do with the Payne's Gray. All right. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going
What's
to
she
just
doing?
here. I think I'm going to do.
Sue Clark needs a Sammy hug. Coming at you, Sue.
Oh, hi, Sue. Incidentally, one of the really cute things, if you've been to Pinterest and haven't seen it, that we've got a little board called "Where in the World is Sammy," and that's where if you guys haven't done that yet, it's really fun. People just paint Sammy in different places, different scenes, landscape scenes. Okay.
Just wherever you may think he is at, he's everywhere.
In case you're wondering, I'm using a 1/4-inch
Angle brush.
angle brush.
You did the first part with what, 3/8?
Yeah.
It reminds me of being in Key West, laying in the sand, looking up at the sunset.
Well, okay, so there you go. And
What are you doing?
there we go. What do you guys think? There's our...
Yankees or Red Sox? We're sock folders. We'll go with the Red Sox, please.
What are we talking about?
Tammy was going to get the Bear a new T-shirt.
Oh, and you have preferences?
Well, of course. We're going to go for a team.
Do we have a team preference?
Of course.
Do you really?
We always have a team preference.
Exists? So, really?
Absolutely.
How do you come to this? How do you come to these preferences?
Well, being a Bear, you would think I would be a Bears fan.
Well, what I'm saying, oh yeah, I guess so, but how do you even know about that stuff, John? You watch that stuff when I'm not around? Watch all that sports stuff?
No.
Did you used to?
You watch all that sports stuff instead of the soap operas we watch together? Yeah, honey. So
Well,
true.
I still love my story. My parents never paid anything. My dad never paid anything to football or anything like that. He was a judge. He never did it. So I still love my story of when I talked to this. I know I'm going to tell it again. You guys want to hear it? It's a great story. I was like 17 years old, and I was skiing in Aspen with some friends, and I was in the sports shop, and they were raising money for the new high school. And the first place was a new car or something, and then it was a big deal because Aspen scored over a rich ski town, right? And the second place was this saddle, Western saddle, and then it went on down, and you were buying these raffle tickets. So we were in the ski shop, and there was this guy getting his ski waxed, and we knew the owners, and so he was saying that he liked that he wanted a raffle ticket, and he asked my friend Forrest to fill it out for him. And he said that he didn't, he said, he said when they came to his address and everything, he gave his address and everything, and he says, well, just send it in care of the Dallas Cowboys. And then he went on to say, he said he didn't really care if he won the car, but he would like to have the saddle. And I was trying to understand who he was, and I said to him, in total sincerity, I'm going, if you're a cowboy, don't you already have a saddle? And then they all glared at me because I obviously didn't get the joke, right? That he was a big deal, and somehow Ginger had missed it. And I would probably miss it again today. Probably say the same thing today, going, huh. But you know that he was trying to impress us with his address, because he probably, or maybe he thought we'd ride him at his home. I mean, me and 15 million other Chinese people couldn't give a rip that he was. I just didn't care, right? All right, so there you go. What do you guys think? You like the sunset?
All right, finishing up here, so let's get your entries in. We're going to be locking the door shortly as she puts the finishing touches on this 10-minute painting that took 22 minutes.
Did it take 22 minutes?
Yes.
Well, gosh, but it was fun, wasn't it?
It always is. Where else can you get a twofer?
Well, just
you guys got 2 lessons for the price of 1.
Yeah, okay. What do you want here? I think, when we varnish it, these colors will really pop, too.
When we varnish it, notice how it's the we?
Yeah, it's the imperial we. All right, now listen, look at this. My hands, I can't do another thing with them. So here you go. I was telling you we have another spot. We actually have a sponsor.
This is a real life sponsor. This is we have been compensated by them giving us Tubbo towels.
They gave us 6 jars of these because they were all excited about what we said. So we're all happy, right? Got 6 little tubs, and we, and I'm telling you what. Here we go. Ginger's hands are filthy, so out we go. And
out we go. Now these are Tubbo towels.
Tubbo towels, and you can get them at Amazon. We have a link to that, John, in our affiliates thing.
We do, but we certainly don't have it ready.
We'll get it up. We'll get it up there somehow.
I'm not sure about that.
You can't say that word.
Oh yeah, and then. But I mean, look at this. I mean, look how it's just cleaning up my hands. I mean, and they've got lanolin and vitamin E in them. These are just the best. And I'm all excited now because I've been telling you about them for weeks. And one of our members, I think she's a member of our academy,
yes,
but also one of our viewers, wrote him and said, by the way, Ginger really likes your stuff. The least you could do is give her some. She's talking about you guys all the time. And I think that's fair, right? I think that's fair.
Well, we love Tubbo towels. I mean,
and we just love it. We love them. I'm just... regardless of whether they gave me any or not, I would still tell you, I think they're wonderful.
Well, yeah, we bought cases of them before, but
we
appreciate getting them, and we appreciate the product.
Yeah, and I mean, I was, they weren't not just for cleaning hands. They're really, they kind of designed them. When you read the back of these things, they were saying uses for hands, paintbrushes, pens and rollers, in walls and floors, tools, door frames and cabinets. Garden equipment, removes permanent marker, food and drink stains, inks and glue, pet messes, chalk and dust, wax, gum and kids graffiti. Well, that's good.
Well, right? Kids graffiti right there.
It removes paint, caulk and silicones, expanding foam, duct tape, epoxies, adhesive, and decals. And vitamin E, it's got vitamin E on it. And used on the interior of auto stuff, fabric and carpet, leather, vinyl, metal, so
They are damp.
They're
not
damp. They're not wet.
wet.
They're just damp. So they remove grease too. But I was hitting
Now
them.
look at put your hands out there. Let's see what they look like. And the other one, look at that.
Well, and it allows me to just clean up before. But I was just using a spongy, sponge with the green back of the scratchy stuff and just kind of scrubbing it all off. This is much better.
Now, the sock folders in us, notice on your painting, your lower left and right corners. Can you just make those dark?
Oh.
It's driving us nuts.
Is it? Well, I used to have some paper under here, and I don't have my paper anymore. It's hard to draw on the edges because some people took away my paper. I had some paper.
Did you have a paper when you were over there painting this?
Well, no, I should have had a paper. Now I have to put a paper underneath here like this, like that here. See what I mean? If you don't, you need a little paper to do that.
Thank you.
There.
We were stressing.
I can tell that you were, but that's why you need it.
Sue Clark wants to know, how are they as far as chemicals in your health and the environment?
Well, you know what? You just have to go on their website and see what they have to say, right? You just have to say they're very nice on our hands with the aloe vera and vitamin E, right? And
environmentally friendly products.
That's what they said. Environmentally friendly, made in North America. Please recycle.
Well, they're in Ohio.
Okay, so environmentally friendly. And they want you to just, I think it's kind of cool, right? And
it contains words that I can't even begin to pronounce.
So there you go. So these are just. Anyway, I kind of like it. I kind of like them here like that. Let's see. Let's just do a little bit over here like that. There you go. All right. I think I'm done here.
Made in Cleveland, Ohio.
All right. Well, we love them, and just as our thought, but
Well, we can tell you they haven't really hurt Ginger. She's been using them for probably a year now.
Well, since last
her hands
August.
Are still on the ends of her arms.
Good to know, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to tighten up. Sometimes you can use pure color out of a. What I love about sunsets is that you can just really play with the color, and I'm just kind of using the rest up of my reds and everything.
I thought we were done with this.
Oh yeah, but I just was playing with. I got a little color left over.
All right, we're going to do the drawing. We have 219 entries according to the system right now. If you haven't entered, we're sorry, you missed out. Last call. Here we go. As soon as I disappear from the screen.
Yeah, so I think I'll sign it right there when it dries. I'll put a little tiny signature right there, you guys, when it dries. And maybe I'll do it a little bit lighter, just not try to do it white.
Alexa, how are you today?
All systems go.
Alexa, volume 5.
So there we go. So you're getting this.
220. Should I mix them? I did that last time.
People didn't like it. Well, remember we were gonna. Okay.
We are gonna do 2 things.
Yeah. So go ahead and just do it. All right. Here's my red slash through the name. It's done.
So it's now officially done.
Well, no, because I'm here. You're still drawing, so I can still play, right? Okay. Isn't that fair?
Alexa, give me a number between 1 and 220.
Your random number between 1 and 220 is 88.
Oh, that's a great number.
88. That's one of your favorite numbers, 8.
Yes, it is. It's a guy.
Oh, a guy. All right. Who is
One
it?
of the few. Yay, guy.
One of our endangered species guys?
Hey. We do the best we can.
Okay. I'm with you. Okay, I'm with you. What do you got?
Jonathan Bake, B-A-K-K-E, or Bakey.
Congratulations, Jonathan. That's awesome.
Please use the Contact Us form on gingercooklive.gallery and give us your mailing address. Please don't write and just say, hey, I won.
because we have to mail it to you, and we
We
have
need
to
an
mail it
address.
to you. Give
And
us
what
an
is the name of
address.
that pen you're using? That is a Posca
Posca pen. We get those on Amazon. Jerry sells them too. The colors you want are white and a dark brown, and sometimes you can get them in all different colors. And then the white comes in. I like the fine ones. The really fine ones have the clear
clip.
But anyway, they're cool. You want a black and a white and a brown, something like that. Those are good ones to have. They're great for signing, and I mean they're absolutely great for signing, and you can do all kinds of nifty things with them. And it's just note to self: I need to order myself another another black one.
I think that's the note to self was us, Sammy. I think we're the note takers.
Are you the note takers?
Typically. Hey, wait, there's more. Right, Ginger? Tell us what more we're offering today.
All right, so you've won this painting, but then we thought what we would do really fun is that we would do a second drawing for a personal art coaching for anybody.
Anybody.
On one painting, as long as it's not another YouTube artist. It could be anything else you find, though. We need a reference photo. It could be one of your lessons from here, or it could be something you just found on Pinterest. I don't really care, or somewhere a photograph. But we'll give you a personal art coaching on one thing, and if you're a member, it'll be an extra one for you. You can use anytime, and we're going to draw for that now.
Alexa,
random personal art coaching.
Give me a number between 1 and 220.
Which you can gift. This one you can gift.
Between 1 and 220 is 202.
202.
So if you win this and you don't want it, you can gift it also. But that's
that's up to you.
That's up to you. Personal art coaching.
Let's put a different color. I know. Okay, so this is for PAC winner is Ruth Monell. Monell.
Monell. Ruth Monell. Ruth Monell. Okay, Ruth. So you have won some personal art coaching. One session, one paint for one painting from me. Aha! You just use to contact us at gingercooklive.gallery.
And we'll set you up so you can access the form.
And we'll figure out how you can do it, and you can.
We've already figured it out.
All right.
We've already done that part.
Yeah. So
wow! So 2 paintings, 2 lessons, 2 giveaways. Where more can you be entertained like this?
All right. So here's the painting. Here's the picture.
Oh wait! Now see, here you go. Say, hey John, we're going to do the show now.
I'm going to just move
Turn
this
off
back
your palette
so people
cam.
can turn off the palette
cam. Zoom back
out. Get rid of the palette cam. Zoom back out. Here's the 2.
Oh, that's a good way to do it. Yeah.
Here's the 2 pictures that we've done today. We'll just leave it. Sometimes it's nice to just have those and sit and stare at them. Now, for those of you who want to print this out so you can see it, if you'll go to if you have to be a member of Pinterest, which is free, so it's a pain. You got to sign up for Pinterest, and then you go to our video library. No, we have a special board for our YouTube lessons for this year. Just go to just YouTube 2002. I think it's like the
2002. I'm going to go 2018, but
yeah, 2018. But it's 3 things over from the
3
first
things
board.
over.
It's 3 boards over. 3 boards over.
Oh man.
Okay, these were fun, weren't they? This would have been a nice lesson all by itself, wouldn't it?
What?
This would have been a nice one just all by itself. But you saw us do it, so now.
It was a great lesson.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for
joining us. Do you have anything else you want to say? Hey, we hope to see you tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube channel.
Bye.
Sammy, anything
Night,
for
Sammy.
you?
Good afternoon, everybody. Have a great day for the rest of Sunday.
Night, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Night.
Sammy, take us out of here, buddy.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.